are back. It is Tape Don't Lie. It's your favorite Raiders podcast. Giving you everything that you guys like to see, breakdowns, film breakdowns, draft. We did draft. This summer we're gonna, deep dive in some other stuff. But welcome back. If you're your first time here, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons in front of you. There's a bunch of buttons you can hit the subscribe, hit the like button. Even if you don't like it, go ahead and dislike it. You know what I mean? Go ahead and dislike it.
You don't have to know what the buttons do. Just hit the buttons. Okay?
Just hit the
right
buttons.
now.
Just hit the buttons.
Hit all the buttons. Okay.
Subscribe. Just subscribe all you guys want. Tell your friends, share the show. Make sure you follow me and BD on Twitter. It's at BD Williams 18 for BD. It's at the Mark John NFL for me. So like I said, if you're first time here, subscribe. And then also, follow us on Twitter. Check us out, some of the videos that we be posting on there. It's not as active right now in the summer, but we'll be posting some other stuff and posting some school stuff throughout the year. So, make sure you guys follow us there. And then, like I said, one more time, subscribe. All right. So this week we're gonna do a little different. It's the off season. OTAs. It's kind of, we're not seeing too much in OTAs. There's not too much news going on right now, right, guys? There's nothing too crazy, right? So me and BD, we're gonna go into deep dive into some concepts, that we're seeing. BD is going to go a little in depth into some odd dime, a little 3 high safeties. So we're going to talk about that. So it's, a little bit of the future of the NFL that's coming, you know what I mean?
See, yeah.
And me, I'm going to be talking a little John Gruden concepts. We're going to, I'm going to show some other teams that run that too as well. And also do a little deep dive into how the Raiders run it. So it's going to be a little mixture of fun concepts, a little learning this week. We're gonna learn a lot. You guys gonna learn about some reads and kind of things like that, because you'll understand. You'll see these plays, the Raiders plays, or even some of these defenses you'll see too that play against the Raiders offense. You'll see some other teams run those defenses, and also you might see Gus Bradley bust out some of these looks too. So just be on the lookout for what we're gonna break down. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna give you a good show today. So how you feeling, BD?
Man, I'm good. No complaints. Did something happen? Oh yeah, David Irving.
Oh yeah, that did happen. Yeah, he got cut. David Irving did get cut. Yeah,
it must have been they weren't satisfied with the effort he was putting in the offseason. That must have been what it was.
Yeah.
Because, that was the first move they made. And correct me if I'm wrong. The first thing they did this offseason was re-sign David Irving.
Yeah.
And, I've been on record. I look like a clown. I'm about to put the clown emoji over my face right now.
Yeah.
I've been on record getting real hyped and hyping up David Irving. So that came as a disappointment to me. But, I guess it's water under the bridge. He really didn't do anything as a Raider, and it was just a lot of projection anyways. So,
yeah.
I guess we could just leave it at that. It was something that never came to fruition. So yeah, we'll see what the rest of this interior defensive line can do.
Yeah. It's interesting because I really feel like Solomon Thomas is really going to get a run. I feel like that he got removed, Maurice Hurst got removed. I feel like Solomon Thomas is really going to get a run at this. I know Quentin Jefferson's probably going to be the starter, right? But I feel like Solomon Thomas, he's going to be a rotational piece. I think he's got a good chance to make the team.
You know who else is being slept on? Okay, Kendall Vickers. Okay. Kendall Vickers. He was impactful. He flashed. Okay. Someone just sent me a video of him deadlifting 1,000 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
I did the math. Pretty sure it was 995 pounds.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. But I think he's definitely a gap penetrator. He doesn't want to play the run. He fits into what Gus Bradley's going to want to do. So that's another guy I think keep your eye on. Kendall Vickers. Obviously, there's a camp battle. Phylon and Stills, the 2 Dariuses. So I guess we're gonna see the cream rise to the top, man, and play, do it from there. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think they're gonna keep a lot of defensive linemen though. I think that's good. The team's gonna be defensive lineman heavy, in my opinion. So
yeah,
we'll see. All right, so let's just go ahead and get it started here. Let's get into these concepts that we're gonna be talking about here. All right. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what we call arches. All right. So, if you've seen my Substack article I dropped on, second half regression for the Raiders. I showed arches in there a little bit, but we're going to go deeper dive into arches today, right? So this is arches out of a twin set, which is, you're going to see the Raiders do a little bit too, which you see that, which is one, which is little kind of a Texas route, and then you got the little drag, which is number two, and that's kind of the build for arches altogether. Is you got the Texas route, that is number one, and then you got the little drag, that's number two. And then you see here, this is from the Shanahan playbook, we got 3 jet F arches, see corner, right? And then so we've got here, you see the number one is still the Texas route, and you got number two is still the drag, but we got number three, that is the check down. And then also you got an alert go from the X comeback, right? That's an alert, just in case if they see something they like, they go alert. And then kind of the corner, that's like the fourth read, right? So like, that's way out of there. You rarely see it here. But first, to start with a little Jimmy G slander here. This is the Super Bowl. This is fourth quarter, 5 minutes left. We got arches call, great arches call from Kyle Shanahan. And you kind of see, this is kind of the basis, West Coast offense play. So, Kittle's wide open, man. I really feel like Kittle scores here. I don't know, just George Kittle. I feel like that's game. The Raiders, it's 49ers in the Super Bowl. And then Patrick Mahomes is done. But let's go to the Raiders, right? So let's go to the Raiders here. We got them out of the twin set. Okay, right at the arches. We got twin set out of arches. Here, you got Zay Jones, going to be running the drag. Hunter Renfrow, he's running the Texas angle route, whatever you want to call it, right? And this is going to be easy read because this cover one straight up man-to-man. And the corner, he has outside leverage. This would be really easy for Hunter Renfrow to get open. You guys, if you remember this play, you probably already know what happens. Do it at a 3.1 as well. They do it at a 3.1 too, right? Kind of same look. You got the check down, you got the go, you got the alert. The only difference is the top man is not the one running the drag. You got Zay Jones, he's running the drag, but Hunter Renfrow still running the angle route, and you got middle of the field close, cover one from the Bengals. So remember this play, because we're going to talk about the other side of this later. And you see nice little angle route. I always want Renfrow to sell it a little better. I'll watch how Waller does it in a second. But, it's still effective. You had a corner with outside leverage, gets cover one. And then you're going to see here out of the twin set again, in 2020, there was more Darren Waller on this arches play than Hunter Renfrow, right? And I think Darren Waller just runs it a little bit cleaner, right? I think he just has a little bit cleaner route running when he sells it. So you can tell he really pushes out that angle and he comes back, right? He really pushes that out. This is cover two invert. Thanks, BD, for letting me know. I had to ask him. But, right. It's a nice little play against cover two invert because that as soon as they open up, that opens up right there. And then you got Waller running the angle route. And then you see him similar to George Kittle right here on the motion, right? But, they got an empty here, but it's kind of the same look. But once again, John Gruden, he has Heavy Ruggs, not the top guy, which is Hunter Renfrow, run the drag, right? So we got it right here again, one time with arches. And you just, like I talked about, just Darren Waller just runs it a little bit cleaner here. It's in 2020. Nice little play right there, first down. And John Gruden loves this on third down, which is a problem. So when arches goes wrong, let's talk about that. So this is one of John Gruden's favorite third down plays, but it's also a crutch that he likes to lean on. Let's say from week 10 to 14, I talked about in this article, they ran this on 12% of the third downs I charted. So this is a play that he loves. He loves this play. And sometimes he just kind of does it a little bit too much. Okay. And we're going to start here against the Bengals, right? We got the same look. They just flipped it. Okay. This is the same drive, guys. I'm gonna tell you, this is the same drive. Same drive, same play. They just flipped it. But watch Jeremy Bates here, okay? All right? Because Carr actually wants to go to the alert here. So, right? He stops. He goes to the alert. You see his eyes. He opens up to the alert. He's kind of looking at Waller, but Waller's double team, right? But Bates is not even following his eyes. He's just going straight to the Texas route. Picked off. So, and they flipped it. So he just took a guess. He's like, okay, that's the same look. They flipped it. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. You can see the same thing here. For some reason, he thought Tyrell Williams could run this route. I know everybody was hurt. He didn't have a choice. But here we go. So we got him running the angle route, and Juan Thorhill sits there. And Derek Carr stares this one down. I don't know why Derek Carr stared this one down. He had a clean pocket, and he had Darren Waller open up on the wheel, which I think inspires something later that we're going to talk about later, guys, that inspired a little adjustment, right? And you see here in 2020, sometimes it just doesn't work in 2020 either. You got Hunter Renfrow here. He's matched up against new Raider Casey Hayward, 1-to-1 on one-on-one in press coverage. You know what I'm saying? Renfrow tries to sell the goal because, I think Hayward, you could tell Hayward knew this was coming. He had inside leverage, right? He knew that if I play inside leverage, this is I'm gonna eat this up. So this is against the Titans here. All right. So we're gonna, I see this play talked about a lot. Derek Carr missed some things, and he thought the blitz was coming here, right, with the archers. So he thought he was gonna have Darren Waller wide open, right? But Logan Ryan drops back right into that leverage. But instead of going to 2 and 3, right, he kind of decides to, like, he thought he was gonna run through that or something, get sacked. And he should have stayed calm there and stayed in 2 and 3. But here's in 2020, kind of the same thing. Play gets messed up, right? Same kind of look, right? Derek Carr has on Renfro. He's not open, but this time Derek Carr stays calm in 2020. This is a different Derek Carr, right? Goes to number 2. That's not there, right? So he rolls out, makes a play. Nice right there. And yeah, he could have hit Darren Waller in there, but that's like the fourth read. If you remember the play, number 3 is the check down. So, that's the fourth read, but he decided to roll out, make a play, hit it to Henry Ruggs, right? But if you line up in 3-by-1, right, and you're the Panthers, this is week 1. What are you thinking? You're thinking arches, right? You line up, 3-by-1. You're thinking arches, but no, not John switched it up. He switched it up a little bit, right? And I love this adjustment, right? Because you're gonna see Hunter Renfro and Darren Waller. They're gonna do the same play, same look, but set at 6 on the wheel. And I really feel like John was inspired by that Darren Waller miss. And you see it again here, same look, same arches, touchdown, right? So you really like some of the variations that John brought in with the arches. You really like some of those things, but it is a play that he leans on. He leans on this play, and I don't know if it's as successful as he thinks it is anymore. And we see it, guys. Like sometimes that play on the slant is just not working as well as it is. I mean, when Darren Waller runs it, there's different instances in 2020 when Darren Waller runs it really, really well. He just runs the angle route a lot better than Renfro does, to be honest. And but yeah, that's basically the breakdown, guys. A little concept learning, a little something that John Gruden likes to lean on a lot. I know you guys seen that slant all the time. You're probably like, what is that? What does that play? There you go. It's just basically arches, a little West Coast stuff, So, what do you think, BD? What's your thoughts on that?
John Gruden's offense, there's 100 different shifts and motions and personnel groupings. And what I really liked about that is you're gonna see the Y run the slant, right, or the short post, right? Mm-hmm. That Texas route. Yeah. You're going to see the slot run it. You're going to see the F run it. You're going to see all those guys do it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I think Raider Nation should be like most interested in, is that they can run the same play, but they can do it with everyone, right? Yeah. But the reads stay the same for Derek Carr. So it's easy for him. And it's just a matter of John Gruden, when he's calling it, or when Derek Carr's in the huddle and he's telling the guys what to do. Like John Gruden's offense, it leaves nothing up for, interpretation. Like it's not going to be like a concept. Now, he's going to say, 387 X this, Y this, F this. So, those guys know exactly what to do. As long as they've mastered the playbook, they can hear it and they hear their route get tagged. So they know where to go. But because it can happen out of every personnel grouping, it can happen out of every formation, and you can motion to it and all this stuff. Yeah, I think that's the benefit, and maybe the silver lining of it all for Raider Nation. If you're thinking that it's an overused concept, that they can make it tough for the defense. It's possible to make it really tough for the defense to like figure out what's going on, but you'd also like to see more adjustments off of it. Like if that, if it's Darren Waller running it and he takes that outside release, right? We got to have some plays where he goes out on that. We got to have some plays where he sits on that, in order to keep the defense honest. And yeah, I think that, that first clip that you showed when it worked really well with Hunter Renfro, it's because it was against man free cover 1. Mm-hmm. So he's got man coverage and the corner has outside leverage. that's when that play really works.
Mhm.
There's going to be other instances like where that Logan Ryan play where they're not in man coverage and he could zone it off, and you have like a really savvy nickel, who will be like, oh, let me guess, this is coming towards me, and if they're in zone, he can squeeze it a little bit more because there's really nothing threatening the flat. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would just like to see maybe John Gruden adjust and make that corner, if they do get a zone look, make that corner stay honest to the flat. Maybe something that's coming out that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's the beauty about the NFL. It's like this constant cat and mouse game. Defenses adjust, so the offenses adjust, so the defense adjusts, so the offense adjusts. So yeah, so now the ball's in Gruden's court. We'll see what adjustment he makes off that this year.
Yeah, for sure. And watching this coaching clinic, he always talks about reinventing himself, and just that variation of arches, right? Because that every time they did it, it worked. I mean, the only time it didn't work is when Ruggs didn't get his feet down, but I mean, they completed the pass. But I mean, every time they did it, man, off that look, because it's a key, because he did the other look only on third down as well. So like you're thinking, if you're a team and you're doing tape watching, and they come out in the 3-by-1, it's third down, you're thinking arches. I mean, I would. I mean, if I was a corner in that formation, I would be on the lookout for arches in that release, and sometimes it can catch you off guard, because if you're sleeping, and you have the top guy in that stack, of that bunch formation, you might they'll get you. Have
Right.
Nelson Aguilar running by you.
Right.
I mean?
The going back to the Jimmy G slander, okay? I'm with you 100%. All right.
Okay.
But I will say, just trying to remain objective.
Okay.
Okay. That corner in Shanahan's offense, that corner route at the point man in the bunch.
Yeah.
He's supposed to convert that to a corner comeback, right? So he's supposed to break to the corner, basically like chop his feet and swivel his hips and come back down that same line.
Yeah.
And he did not sell that corner enough, to like, obviously, like the guy just sat right on it.
Yeah.
I think that's Tyrann Mathieu. So, a little bit is on whoever that wide receiver was. He didn't sell that corner good enough, I would say. But yeah, Jimmy G missed George Kittle for sure.
Yeah. I remember watching that play on TV, and nobody was talking about it when I watched it on TV. I was like, he just missed him on the angle route. I mean, that's the
design. Go for that. Yeah.
I don't. Whatever you say, that's number one, bro. Like we all saw. We saw. What's number one? I mean.
Yeah.
That was him choking, bro. That was like, oh my God, there's 4 minutes left of the Super Bowl. I got to make this play. That he froze up. And then Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl champ.
Yeah, right. So real quick, remember the Foster Moreau touchdown?
Yes. Which one?
That's not arches, is it?
No, it's not.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, against the Packers.
Was it against the Packers?
Yeah, you're talking about the one
because he runs a short post across the middle. What do you remember what concept that is then?
I think that was just like a quick, like a blitz beater. I think because they crossed. Because I think
you did something with like
it was a
Jerry
pick play.
Rice, the Jerry Rice play.
I know what you're talking about. That's Darren Waller.
It was Darren Waller. Okay, I'm thinking, maybe I'm thinking the wrong thing. I wish I had this prepared, because there was like a play when they were hyping up Foster Moreau, and they were like, "Yeah, he's going to be a star in the NFL." Yada yada yada. Remember his name at the John Gruden coaching clinic? There was a play with him scoring a touchdown, I believe, off of a short post across the middle. But I think he was just in a 2-man stack. I don't think that he was in a bunch.
It's the Green Bay play. That's a pick play though. So it was
okay.
Yeah, and he goes under it. That's
right. He goes under it. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we also see a lot of Foster Moreau this year, because
yeah, I think we will though.
There's no choice. You got to, yeah.
He's a good deep threat though, man. I think he's a good deep threat. He's got great hands. Yeah, he can make contested catches. He can beat guys deep. Yeah, I think he was totally underused last year, but we'll see.
100%. Maybe Maybe it has something to do with the injury. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah.
You know,
Or maybe they thought Witten could block better, which I don't agree with, but whatever. We'll see. We'll
Wynn
see.
didn't look. Wynn he didn't
It's
look
the
good
past,
blocking.
guys. It's the past, guys. Witten's gone, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Hats off. Hats off to Witten.
Hats off.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add on?
No, man.
Archer's
Yeah. It's just that's basically the Arches concept. So I mean, we're probably going to see it again this year. And like I said, it's a favorite of his on third down. I don't know, if it'll be more Darren Waller like it was in 2020, probably because Darren Waller is the guy. I mean, he basically ran this play this in 2020. Like Renfro ran in 2019, 2020, it was Waller. So if they really see more Waller doing that this year, and especially the way he works, he's probably working the hell out of that route. So
right. Right. Okay, cool. All right. I'll jump into my segment then.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to talk to you guys about the odd dime package that's, I would say, trickling into the NFL. It's taking over football in general right now. This is a diagram. Mint to Tampa. Mint means one of the linebackers will walk up on the line of scrimmage. You can play cover 2. You can play anything out of that. And then also talk about some, 3 deep safety looks that you can get into out of the odd dime. Formation, and the possibilities are endless when you get into 3 deep safety looks. But the biggest question is, how do you stop the run if you're in dime personnel? Okay, three defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, the rest of the guys are DBs. Okay, so how do you do it? And really, what you got to do, and the whole point of the odd dime, is you got to clog the inside gaps, make the running back bounce to the speed on the edge. Okay, so I think this is a really great example. Iowa State, they're the progenitors of the 3 deep safety odd dime base package. They base out of this package. And, look at this defensive end right here. Usually you want this defensive end holding the edge. Okay, but in the odd dime, what they're going to do is everyone's going to crash inside to the gaps inside. Okay, and what's going to happen is this running back is going to bounce out here to the D and the C gaps, which they leave completely open. Okay, and what they hope is that you get a one-on-one with a fast guy, and that guy can bring that running back down, just like it worked right there. Get a tackle for a loss when you're in dime. Okay, and if we want to show how mainstream this has gotten, this is Clemson running it. Okay, you see, they got 6 DBs out there. They got a nickel Sam. They got 3 safeties. Got 2 corners. Okay, this is their secondary out here. Okay, and they're playing odd dime 3 deep, and they're getting run stops out of dime personnel. And again, we can watch how this goes. This little middle linebacker here, number 47, he's gonna blitz the B gap. Okay, and the defensive end on that side is going to crash into the A gap. Then you're going to get the A gap stopped by the nose guard, and then this defensive end is squeezing down to the B gap. No one has C gap. No one has a C gap. Okay, but that's the intention. Look where this running back, he has nowhere to go. He's got to bounce out there, get a one-on-one with the DB. That's how you stop the run. Okay, so now how does it work in the NFL? How does odd dime work in the NFL? Well, here's a clip of the Raiders running it. Okay, after the Buccaneers lost, they got into some dime looks. They got 6 DBs out here, and there's 3 defensive linemen, so they're in an odd front. Okay, and they're just gonna run cover 5, which is 2-man, 2 deep man coverage. And I would say the majority of NFL defenses, when they get into odd dime, they run 2-man, or they run some kind of version of 2 high. Okay, this is the Carolina Panthers getting into odd dime, and they're going to run the cover 3 out of it. And you can just see from that how the speed helps them, how the speed on the field helps them. Now let's just get into some 3 deep safety packages. Okay, Carolina, I think, were the first ones to start getting into this. They got 3 deep safeties. What is it? Is it single high? Is it 2 high? It makes it really difficult for the quarterback to figure out what's going on, and they have to work. It's forcing them to work post snap. Okay, you can't tell pre-snap what's going on. Okay, and you can get into cover 1. You can get into all types of looks, some drop 8 looks here. 3 Tampa is a drop 8 look. And then, this is the real reason why I think it's going to start taking over the NFL. the Buccaneers did this against Patrick Mahomes. Fantastic play by that safety to come off Travis Kelce and break that pass up. But Buccaneers were almost exclusively in 3 deep odd dime package on 3rd and longs against Patrick Mahomes, and they had a really tough time, and they did a lot of blitz packages too. And then this is, maybe some things to come. You see Gus Bradley getting into some 3 deep safeties. He's got 3 safeties on the field, a nickel and 2 corners. Okay, and they get into a cover 4 look, out of a 3 deep safety package, and they stop a screen right there. So that's me. Just kind of showing you. I think that this is a scheme this is the new sub package in the NFL, because nickel is the base. Okay. You're not going to be in base personnel against most teams, except if you play Baltimore, you play Tennessee, you play San Francisco, right? You'll be in base against those teams, right? But that's going to be like a game plan specific thing. And obviously if you play in that division, you're going to have to really get you're going to have to think about how many linebackers you have and things like that. But for the rest of the NFL, okay, you're going to be in nickel 85% of the snaps. I would go through entire Raiders games last year charting, and they were in like base personnel like 3-4 snaps a game, except for the Cleveland Browns game and the Patriots game. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it was very rare for them to be in base. And so I do think that now, with some of just the schematic tweaks that we've seen across all football, okay, and it really has started with college football. It started with lower, like not the greatest teams recruiting wise in college football, trying to figure out, okay, how do we stop the spread? What are we going to do to stop the spread? And getting real creative. And this scheme has trickled up. So I do think that, especially after the Buccaneers did it so effectively against Patrick Mahomes, you're going to see a lot of teams getting into 3 deep safeties, getting into the odd dime package. That's going to be their new sub package on 3rd and longs. And then the one note that I will say is you can stop the run, not holding the edges, not sealing the edges in college football, making that running back bounce. But you got Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook or that's probably not a good scheme to get into on rundowns, right? That being said, and I'm going to get into it later this summer, because Gus Bradley kind of put together an incredible game plan in the 2018 playoffs against Lamar Jackson, and they were in not even dime personnel. They had 7 DBs on the field, and they were able to stop the run along those same lines that I showed you how college teams stop the run, clogging the gaps and saying, okay, if you're not going to run it in the middle on us, and we're going to leave Derwin James one-on-one with Lamar Jackson, see what you got. And it worked really effectively. The extra speed on the field worked really effectively, and the defensive linemen that were in the game were just clogging the interior gaps. They weren't worrying about a pass rush, because Baltimore doesn't pass the ball very often, so why would you worry about rushing the passer off the edge, right? So I think that is something that worked really effectively. So I'll talk about Gus Bradley's very interesting standalone game plan against Baltimore Ravens, because the Raiders played Baltimore week 1. So we'll get into that later this summer. So yeah, but I think the odd dime package is something that is going to slowly start taking over and be the number 1 base or sub package for in the NFL, within the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucks game, I mean, it was really the revolution. And NFL's copycat league. That's what you hear all the time. NFL is a copycat league, so somebody's going to copycat that game plan to try to stop Patrick Mahomes, and it might even be the Raiders. Even though Gus Bradley has some pretty damn good game plans against Patrick Mahomes, he's probably been one of the main guys to stop him the most, I believe. I mean, he's really has some really good.
He'll limit him, yeah.
Yeah, limit. I mean, you can't stop him. I mean, holding the 20 points is pretty
Todd Bowles stopped them. But I mean, they also had no offensive lineman in that game too, so that was part of it for sure. Yeah. It was actually interesting, because I was looking at some of those third and long plays, right? And like I think under normal circumstances, if like the protection was there, Patrick Mahomes would have been able to complete some of those passes into those coverages, but he was just under so much duress that, normally things that he would have been completing, he just wasn't able to. So I think a little bit of it was that there just wasn't any protection. So it wouldn't really have mattered what kind of defensive structure that they were running,
Yeah.
So we'll see how effective it ends up being. But it should be noted, and I put out a tweet about this, that Iowa State is the progenitor. They are the originators of the three deep odd dime base package that, like they run all the time. Okay. Um, that was, and Iowa State beat Texas Tech when Patrick Mahomes was there. That was like his biggest loss that he ever had before the Super Bowl. And Bucks went back all the way back to find the three deep safety odd dime package, and that's what they used against him. So yeah, I guess it is something that gives Patrick Mahomes some problems.
Yeah, that's so someone's going to try to copy it, even if he does have a great line or has a better line. I'm not going to say his line's great. We don't know, but someone's going to try it, dog.
For sure.
Somebody's going to try that. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, see how the NFL is going, because there's always going to still be those teams that, you can't ever set up that as your base defense in the NFL, because there's always going to be that team that just runs the ball ridiculous. I don't care whatever changes the NFL. I don't care if people start throwing 6,000 yards. It's going to be one team or two teams that got to try to run it down people's throats still. And it's always going to be like that, because that's just kind of like more of an NFL game. You know what I mean? At this point, the college football used to be all running too, but there is no like team that just passes 80% of the time or something. There's no NFL team that does that. The highest NFL team that is good, by the way, is 60%. There could be the bad teams that do like 64 or 65, but they're bad. But like a good team, like the Bills or the Chiefs,
yeah,
they're heavy passing teams, but that's what you do to stop them. And you saw the Chargers do that, right? He showed that against the Bills, and you do that to stop the Chiefs. But you always got to have something to beat the Browns, right? Because if you don't have that base personnel to beat a team like the Browns, they're going to beat you because they're just going to run the ball down your throat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always interesting, where you play and what division you play in kind of decides that. Because I think Phil Snow's could get away with it a little bit, because there's nobody in the NFC North or South, my bad, NFC South that really runs the ball like that.
Saints want to run the ball. I think that they're kind of a heavy run team. I'd say they're closer to 50-50.
Yeah, they are.
And I didn't find too many clips of them getting into the odd dime package against the Saints. Okay. I found it more against, the pass heavy teams on third and longs.
Okay, that makes sense.
But they did lose to the Saints. So
yeah, but they did really good against the Chiefs too. The Panthers did. The Panthers did really good against the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the Bucks were like, hey, we could do that too. Maybe they saw it from there. I don't know. But yeah, but the Panthers gave Patrick Mahomes fits for sure.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. I was really surprised to see Gus Bradley get into a three deep safety look. It was the only one I could find. But it's obvious that there's a little bit of that. At his fingertips, we'll see how much gets installed. But if it's not the Raiders, there's gonna be plenty of teams copycatting and getting into three deep safety looks on third downs. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely something, if you're a football fan, if you're a fan of X's and O's, it's something to keep an eye on, because the schematic adjustments and kind of like all the things that have been happening, all of these things have been in favor of the offense recently in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And I think that getting like this odd dime, like you can get into literally every coverage in the book, and you don't have to show it pre-snap. There's so much that you can get into, so much that you can do out of it. So I do think that it's definitely here to stay, and it's gonna cause some teams, especially some younger quarterbacks, it's gonna give them some fits. especially if they didn't play against a scheme like that in college.
Yeah, that is for sure. All right, BD, you got anything else today, man? Anything?
That's it, man. That's it. That's it for me.
That's it for me too. I got nothing else today.
All right, guys. We appreciate you coming in as always. You guys are the faithful subscribers, audience of the Tape Don't Lie show. We really appreciate it. Please give us a follow on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at BDWilliams18. Marcus is at the Mark John NFL. You can also hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications for the YouTube channel, and also subscribe to the Substack, the Tape Don't Lie Substack. We're going to try to keep on getting some articles and deep dives as much as we can this summer. We're going to keep on pumping that out to you guys, so stay tuned, stay patient with us while we get some things ironed out, some kinks ironed out. And also a little teaser where Tape Don't Lie Gear Shop is in the works, trying to put together some shirts, maybe some hoodies, even though it's summertime, so it's a little hot, but we'll see. So stay tuned for that. If you have ideas about this, because we have the bare bones in the works right now, but if you have ideas about this, you can always hit us up at the Raiders Film Channel Gmail account, or in the comments. We try to read all the comments, so we appreciate any kind of feedback that we get from you guys. So yeah, that's it, guys. Peace out, Raider Nation.
Peace out.